Hey guys, welcome. Let me know how everything's coming in. Are we nice and clear? Do we got good voice to music ratio? Everything's exactly the same, so it should be good, seeing how it has been good previously. What do we got going on here? 82 viewers, 33 likes. Be sure to smash that subscribe button if you are new to the channel, and obviously like this if you haven't yet. Scroll up, do a quick roll call here. We got Indrit Duda, Bob84 Gaming, Raven NFTs, JRAD, Responsive Resolve, welcome. Name I cannot pronounce because it's somewhere else. Mr. Centovis, Christopher Palazzo, Game Tiger, welcome. Welcome Fudweiser, Ramsey Tech, Crypto Nico, Angry Wolf. We think we saw that. Daniel, Grind Force, Bone, what's happening? Terrio Marcala, Rocket Johnny. Let's see here. Vincent Gallo, I think I said that. Dave Collins, welcome. Scrolling through. James Hansen, Guatemala Pluffy, who is saying 529 Canadian. I totally missed that Newegg thing. Are they still there? I don't know. I haven't even checked it out, but I'll have to have a look after. But I don't know if I can really afford a couple more rigs at the moment, but we'll see. Golden Wolf. Oh, everything just jumped. I'm probably missing everybody. I'm so sorry for missing out if I do miss any names. Enigma. Thank you very much, Mining. Oh my gosh. QAR 1799. How's it going? Going pretty good so far. So yes, good morning, Celeb Flair. Manuel Sandoval, KC, Akin A, Enigma, BDDE, Momfuss, Game Tiger. Oh, I hope I caught everyone. Arctic, White Arctic Walker. Okay, there's so many people. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming and joining the stream. Hello from Mexico. Wow, that's insane. Amit Kumar, good morning. What's going on? Brett Wilsmore. Okay, everyone, what's going on? How's everyone doing today? Scrolling back up to the top here. How much you making nowadays from a Ryzen 9 3900X? And you know what? I'll do the full video, and on Friday when I do my weekly profit thing. But right now, so far, I have mined 0 raptoreum. Yes, you heard me correctly, 0. I have not mined any raptoreum yet. So originally, I tried the solo mining thing. So let's kind of talk about that. I went to Coin Miners for about 4.5 days or so, and 0, nothing happening there. So oh, great. So I did try Coin Miners a few weeks ago when I had 6 rigs only, and I went on it. I tried it for 24 hours, got nothing. But someone else with a single 3900X rig in the Discord was using, what was it? I can't remember which. I think Zerg Pool, and they hit a block and I didn't hit anything. So I was like, oh great, what's going on? Maybe it's Coin Miners. Anyway, fast forward to now. I tried Coin Miners again. 4 days go by, nothing. So then I'm like, okay, I'm switching pools. I go to a different pool, and I got tricked from not doing my due diligence. So I'm just gonna go over here. I'll show you guys exactly what is going on. I will make the video when the time comes to look at my profits, but right now, yeah, I'm gonna have to kind of change this so you guys can see everything. Okay, that's too small. All right, let's go about here. So I'm going to go into, so I went from Coin Miners to solopools.net. So I'm on Solo Pools. I woke up, I put it on last night on Solo Pools, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this, see what happens. I woke up this morning and I said, oh, look at this, there's a balance. I'm like, oh, I smashed a block, nice. So I went and looked, and I'm like, what is this? 308, 12 hours, 308 raptorium. I'm like, that's not right. A block reward is 3,750. So what's going on here? I looked to see X amount of miners. I found a link somewhere. I don't know where it is, but then it said solopools.net, I guess, is not a solo pool. They're just their own pool. So I'm like, what's going on? I went to their Twitter, and then they have a solopools.net as well as a solopools.org. And I guess solopools.org is a solo. So I went back into what is this? Mining pool stats and raptorium here. Go in here. I go to mining pool stats. That's not, I don't want miner stat. Why are you popping up here? Ghost Rider, algorithm. Okay, so right here we can see solo pools. I was going through solo pools. So that makes sense. You'd be like, oh, look, that's a solo pool. I'm going to go there. They're called solo pools. Well, it turns out .net is not a solo pool. You have to scroll down even farther, and you have to find solopools.org wherever you are. Are they even here anymore? Oh, great. They just disappeared. Where is .net? I don't know. There's another solo pools. It's .something. There it is, .org. And this, it doesn't even have it anymore. This morning it said solo right beside it. Oh, they have an API error. Okay, so they're all glitched out. But anyway, solopools.org is their solo pool. So I clicked on that and I was like, nothing wanted to connect to that pool. So okay, whatever. So then I moved over to Zerg Pool. So now I am currently on Zerg Pool for the last 3 days. And as of this morning, I just went on it and I am waiting to finally hit a block if I can. So I got 3 days to try to hit a block or two to see if I mine any Raptorium at all this week. But there is a plus side to this whole thing. I guess I got 300 Raptoriums so far this week. Nothing compared to what I'm used to with all my rigs. But I did at least get something back in the form of smart nodes. So it does look like I got a payout today of $4,093. So I got 0 in mining, but through having everything in my nodes here, I did get over 4,000 because I do send everything every Sunday. I'm just going to go into my iNodes here to confirm it, and I added it all up. You can look at your payments right here, and here you can see 87.68, 189.51, 564.02, and 3,251.97. These were all my payouts today, based on the node that you're in. So if you, again, I kind of go over it. My smart nodes, here you can see the 4 nodes I'm in. I have 28% of this smart node. So like I got 4 different payments this Sunday and it worked out to be 4,093, exactly what is in here. So I'm going to go ahead and for you guys live and throw this right back into my smart node. So if you are unaware how to actually do this, I'm putting it right back in there. So I at least got 4,000 Raptorium so far this week through the smart nodes, but you know, mining wise, I guess I'm only sitting at 300 so far, but I still have a couple more days to try to hit a block. So wish me luck, guys. And then I'll be back on a pool and doing more tests. I'm just going to spam copy that address so I know I get it right. I'm going to go to my Zelcore wallet here. I'm going to send some Raptorium. It is saved in here. So I'm just destination address, paste. Smart node already pops up because it knows what it's doing, but always double check. So RK28, first 4 and the last 4, U8TS1, U8TS1, and I am going to send a total of all of it. 4093. I'm going to send 4093. That'll be enough to carry. The transaction fee will be like 0.0003 or something. So obviously that's enough. So I'm going to be sending 4,093 to the smart node. All set, ready to roll. Send, done. Yes, send, go. Boom. Don't, yeah, transaction sent. Boom. I have now had 0.91 and I'll get another payout next week. So we're going to give it a little bit of time here. Let this do its thing. Eventually, when it does get here in a few minutes, might be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending what you do. And I will see this in my onboarding address. So we'll check on this in a few minutes to see if it actually makes it to it. Anyway, let's get back to the chat here. Just give you a quick rundown on what's going on with my smart nodes and Raptorium mining, and so far nothing. So mining again, another QAR of 729. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Danny Hernandez, I went back to Flockpool. I urge all you guys, anybody out there right now that is mining on Flockpool, get the flock off of it. And I'm going to show you why. I didn't want to do the video, but I think I'm going to make that video today because there's some issues going on here and we should not have that much hash rate on a single pool. Doesn't matter if we have smart nodes going on Raptorium. Get off the pool. Like, it is not looking good. Investor standpoint, say someone wanted to, you know what, let's just look at the pool first. Mining, pool, stats, Raptorium. Bam, bam. All right, look at this, guys. 75.8% of the hash rate. That is by far over 51%. Yes, we do. Oh, okay, my screen's all messed up. Hold on. I don't even want to go full screen. I'm going to make it so you guys can actually see this. Zoom it in for you guys so you guys see what's going on here. So look at that. There's Flockpool number 1. You can see right here. Flockpool's in first. These are the top 5 pools here. And look at that, 75.8% of the hash rate is on Flockpool. Now I know we have smart nodes. That's a backup security chain and all this stuff. But, you know, say an investor wants to come in, someone wants to put money into Raptorium or something. Like, I'm not a spokesperson for Raptorium or anything, but myself personally, if I looked at this and I saw this hash rate, I would not put money in Raptorium. I would not be investing into it or anything. There's a potential, there's already Reddit posts all over the place of Raptorium in, you know, potential 51% attack incoming and everything. So because of the smart nodes, that's a backup chain. A lot of people don't know about that on the network, that it does have that, and it will prevent a 51% double spend attack. But a lot of people don't know that, and it's getting posted everywhere. People are thinking this is bringing negative attention to Raptoreum, and we're also starting to see a price drop, and it could be because of it. Again, I don't know the full details, but if you are on Flock Pool, get off. Go to a different pool. Any pool besides our plant also, because they rob from you. But anyway, go to Supernova, go to O11 Data Pool, go to our pool. It doesn't matter. Go to a different pool. Just get off Flock Pool. We got to drop that below 50% just to look for a network standpoint. People that are into crypto and stuff, they look at stuff like this and say, hey, you know what? This is probably not a good thing to invest in. Again, not financial advice. I'm not a trader. I'm not a pro. I'm not in anything. But looking at numbers like this makes me almost not even want to mine Raptoreum anymore, because stuff like this is breaking it. And if you don't know the background on this, the creator of the actual miner, the GR version of the CPU op miner, this is his pool as well. So not only is everything defaulted to Flock Pool from default, as soon as you download the miner, it's already pointed at Flock Pool. Secondary, all the dev fees, no matter what pool you're on, points to Flock Pool as well. So everything is pointing at Flock Pool straight from the get-go. So do your due diligence, look at that, change your pool addresses. There is a lot of new miners on Raptoreum, people that have never mined before, and they don't really know what's going on. I'm going to be making that beginner's guide to Raptoreum mining and trying to point out key points like this. But I'm just trying to say, if you're mining on Flock Pool right now, just move your hash rate, more, decentralize it more across the network. Stop pointing everything at one pool, because from outside eyes looking in, this looks very bad for the coin in general. So just keep that in mind when you are mining Raptoreum, guys. Okay, anyway, moving on. Let's go here. Boom, boom. Do we have any questions or ats in here? Thanks for great videos about Raptoreum. Can you make a video about undervolting a 5900X AMD 3900X? I got a bunch of them, but a dedicated undervolting and OC video, yes, I can definitely work on that. People are really curious on, you know, how to actually do that. I know it's easy. I just say 3.6 at 1 volt, use Ryzen Master in Windows, or use your BIOS. But a lot of people don't really know what those numbers and stuff mean, or like I said, a lot of new people are just mining it for the first time. Like they've never mined before, or coming in from GPU mining. CPU mining is a little bit of a learning curve. There's different things you got to do, and it's a little harder to get your stuff actual stable, and it takes longer of testing to actually do it. Unlike a GPU, you can see right away, you know, okay, it needs a little more, it needs a little less, whatever. A CPU could take 4 or 5 days to actually know that it's going to be stable or not. How to retune for changing pools. You do not need to retune your CPU if you change pools. The only time you ever have to retune your CPU is if you do a different overclock setting. So if you if you change your RAM settings, or you change your RAM totally, or you add XMP, take XMP profile off, or you overclock your CPU a bit more, then you will have to. If you just change your voltage on your CPU, you won't have to. But anything that could potentially change your hash rate, it's recommended to do another full retune. Now, I do plan, once I'm done this solo test here, to do like, is it worth doing the full tune versus not full tune? Is it worth, you know, once you tune it once on one setting, is it actually worth it to tune it again going up? So I plan on doing all these tests for you guys. It's going to take some time because of the way the network and everything is. But yeah, do you need a good cooler tune? No. If you plan on overclocking it a lot, then you're going to need something bigger. But the stock cooler that comes with the 3000 series is all you need to mine Raptoreum. Like, I went all the way up to, I think I went up to 4 gigahertz before at like 1.2 volts or something. I was still in like the 75 degrees with the stock cooler. So the stock cooler is really good. Now, if you decide to use the Ryzen clock tuner, that thing, and the DRAM calculator, then yes, you're going to need a bulkier cooler, because you'll be pretty much optimizing and maximizing the amount of hash rate you're pulling out of that CPU, and it will run warm. What pool you recommend for Asia server? I am not really sure. You're going to have to go to mining pool stats. And then here, I'll kind of show you guys, depending on my screen here. Let's go to here, scroll over, and you can see where the pools are from. We're just going to kind of get rid of Flock Pool and our plant. So pick one of these pools other than those top two. And I don't know why our plant still has so much hash rate, because people not realizing that they're literally robbing from me. Plus, it's prop pool. We kind of went over that the other day. Prop's bad. But here you can see Supernova's France. O11 data is United States. Our pool is Germany, Hong Kong. Zerg pool has multi. So Asia, I'd put maybe for you in Asia, like you just asked, probably Zerg pool would be a good option for you. So here you can see they have a US, Euro, as well as an Asian server. So Zerg pool could be a decent one for you. So you can click over here and you can see exactly where they do have Coin Miners has a European, US, and Asia as well. This is what I did try solo mining on at one point, but I just didn't like it. Wasn't working for me for some reason, but again, nothing seems to be working for me at the moment. Hash rate's high, but I recommend all you guys right now, if you're mining Raptoreum, try one of these other pools down here. Just give it a shot, try it out. But we got to get more hash rate off of here. Look, we already dropped 2% of the hash rate. That's good. Keep it coming, guys. We need to get that under 50% because, you know, it doesn't matter about our backup security chain. And we need to make this coin needs to look good throughout everywhere, right? So we need more of a decentralized type of action happening here. So anyway, you guys couldn't even see that when I pointed that out. Here we go. Going back up here. So we were at 75. We're at 83 now. Yesterday we were at like 81 or 82% on there. So it's kind of good. Also, a lot of people do seem to be falling off the network with the price drop. But overall, you know, try and keep an eye on that. Don't let certain pools overtake others because it could just looks bad to outside eyeballs looking in on certain coins. A week ago, a viewer asked me about this, and you said, nah, it's cool. We have smart nodes. Yes, we do have smart nodes when they're sitting at like 55%, 51%. Now, look, when you're sitting there at like 70 and 80%, you know, then it's starting to look a lot bad. Now, originally, yeah, if they're only sitting at 51, 52, then, you know, it shouldn't be too bad. But when, you know, the pool is sitting at 80% of the hash rate, that just looks really bad from people looking in from an outside. So say like someone's on, you know, say there's a big ETH whale or this whale and say that, you know what, I've been hearing about Raptoreum, I'm going to go check it out. And they'll look at the network, they'll look at these other things, they'll be like, oh, wait a minute, look at all the hash rate right there. And they don't even do a dive into the background about the smart nodes and stuff. Just looking right there, they'll be like, okay, this might not be a good coin to go into or something. So keep that in mind. You know, 51% and stuff would be okay, but ideally you would like to keep it under 50% on any set pool. Our pool has constant API errors. Okay, well then don't use our pool then, but you know, just try something else, see how it goes. Do you make more money on Flock pool? Probably not. Like, I did a 24-hour test. 24 hours is not long enough, but I found the 011 data pool. I made more coins on that pool than I did on Flock pool in the same 24-hour span. But 24 hours is not really good to do a test. You do have to go for a week, for a month, and everything else. In the end, everything kind of averages out. But how it works is, say you have so many miners on one pool, yeah, you're hitting a lot of blocks, but you're getting a very, very small fraction of that block reward because you're messing around with so many miners. I do plan on looking how to find a profitable mining pool video sometime in the future, but the nice second, third, fourth place type of pools, the middle grounds, usually end up to be the most profitable because they don't find blocks as much. No, you do have to be a little more patient, you know, instead of getting that constant little payout, you know, saying, oh yeah, I'm getting some. You got to wait it out because then you do get larger chunks out of each block because there are less miners on that pool. Over time, they all do even out, but you know, it all comes down to patience. If you're just in there and you're like, oh, it's been a couple hours, I don't see a payout yet, I don't see, a coin yet, but you know, you just got to hang in there and hold out. Eventually, long term, you could potentially be making more on the smaller pool than you would on that large pool. It evens out in the end, but you do get larger chunks of that block reward on a smaller pool. Even though they aren't finding as much, it will work out to be possibly even more profitable than the larger pools that are finding all those blocks. No, you don't need to retune. Yes. Okay. Did I miss a bunch of ats and everything? Did I miss any other super chats from mining or something? If I miss anything, I'm sorry. I'm trying to keep track of this, lay low some info. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on. You mine RTM? Yes, I am mining Raptoreum. You got a couple of 3900Xs for 31K. Got a couple of 3900Xs for 31K. What? Those numbers don't seem correct. That seems very expensive if you got paid 31,000 for 3900Xs, but I may be reading that wrong. Okay, I switched to Flock pool. I switched from Flock pool to Supernova, and I'm making more per day. Nice, Tenacious D. See, there's an example there. Like, just because that pool has all the hash rate doesn't mean you're going to be making more Raptoreum. You could overall potentially be making less than a smaller pool because it's a lot, you know, you get the lot bigger chunk out of that. My last 24 hours on 11 have been about the same as Flock pool. So yeah, overall, everything will be about the same. And on the smaller pools, like I said, you could potentially be getting, if they have if a small pool hits a nice good luck day where you get, you know, quite a few extra blocks in there, you could make quite a bit more than you would be on that steady little pool there. Supernova requires you to create an account to change payouts. The layout on the site sucks. Yes, White Arctic Walker, you're 100% correct. When I was trying my original test there, I didn't realize that at first, and it messed up my whole test. So that's why I had to remove that pool from it. But yes, you do have to make an account originally if you want to change your payouts and stuff. So that's one thing you got to keep in mind. Click on the pool, see what it's all about before you just throw rigs onto it, which I didn't do. Much respect. I want to join O11. What address do I put in CPU miner? Well, I can just actually no, mine's on the solo thing. I'll just find that for you right quick here. I'll find that right quick for you here. So I'm just gonna go into here. I'll go to full screen so you can see exactly what I'm doing. So top left corner here, you can expand it here. So you click on pools, all pools. And up top here, you can see exactly what it is. Now, it doesn't have the ports listed. Again, if you're on this pool and you need support or any questions about it, Discord link is my Discord in the description. So be sure to check that out. I'm just going to paste this here for you. This is your stratum and everything. With the port, it is recommended 3008 for anything from 1 to 8 kilohash average. That's per rig. So that is the majority of miners to use the 3008 port. So that is the port for you to use if you do want to use the O11 data pool. Bam, bam. Okay, what else we got? A bunch of ats in there. So I don't know if we'll get into rig picks or not today, because again, this is also an AMA. So I'm here to answer your questions. And if we have a little break in between a question or something, you know, we'll look at a rig pick. Okay, what do we got here? I like our plant. Just checked minimum payout, block reward, and donation fee. They let me connect with all my gear through, even my Celeron. Well, every pool should let you should be able to connect to any pool with any CPU, but our plant, you can use them if you want. I'm not saying don't use them. I just found, and other people have noticed too, that rewards were significantly less than any other pool out there, but that's all up to you. I also noticed my hash rate was even lower there. It's really weird what's going on. Okay. I miss when Flexpool used to be a small Ethereum pool. Yeah, Flexpool is awesome, and I'm actually working on something with Flexpool. If you guys are unaware, you can now get payments in Matic instead of, you know, waiting for the Ethereum fee. So I got to wait for all my payments to go through. I got to do a little due diligence on that, figure it all out. And I will be having a setup and how-to video on Flexpool here pretty soon, but I got to wait for all my stuff to go through. You can connect to O11 with Celeron CPUs. I have a couple. I have one thread going on the 3004 and OLED. So yeah, Celeron would be a great example of the 3004 port. Anything under 1 kilohash average, you would use the 3004. And again, 1 to 8 kilohash is 3008. Then if you got like a massive thread ripper or something, you know, your 3970X, your 3990X or 3995X, something like that, some massive crazy CPU, you'd probably go with 3032, which is 8 kilohash and above of an average hash rate. Not much commenting from me today. Building a new 3950X rig. Bone, nice. Building a new rig. Sweet, sweet, good stuff. Poly is the best on Flexpool. Just switched to it. Oh, did you? Nice. Good job. Yeah, they just contacted me and said, you know, we just did this. I'm like, oh, sweet. Cool. So I'm going to be looking into that for you guys, and we'll have a video on that whole poly layer 2 payout system here, but it's probably going to be a little while till I can finally flip everything over and wait for my original thing. Do you remind me my comment a few hours ago with my 23900X? Rocket Johnny, your 23900X. Where is your comment? I'm scrolling up. Rocket Johnny. Where's Rocket Johnny? Let's go. Rocket Johnny, please at me again and ask the question. I'm so sorry. I don't know. There's so many comments I can't catch it, but you guys let me know. Speaking of which, let's see if my iNodes payment is there yet. Boom. And oh, look, there we are, guys. Here, let me change my thing. So you can see in my smart, swap that over. So right there, you can see my balance in my onboarding address is 4,093. So what's going to happen next on this smart node here for Raptoreum is when you need 1,250,000 Raptoreum to fill a node. So what's going to happen is once there's enough addresses with enough Raptoreum altogether found with enough to fill a complete node, then all these onboarding addresses will start to fill another node. And at the end of the month, everything will be consolidated. People will get their payments if they requested withdrawals. And then all my nodes should be easier to find because all my stuff will be centered into a single node instead of spread across 4. So that happens at the end of every month as well. So looks like my I sent everything to my personal onboarding address. You can also mine to this address if you choose to. I just don't. I would. It would make it very easy. I just don't, so that I can track all my profits and do that profit video for you guys. But you do want to mine to your personal onboarding address. You 100% can. But yeah, there we go. There's proof. It is now in there, ready to go to the next node when the next node is ready to load. We're good to go. Okay, moving on. Okay, where is this at White Arctic? I'm looking for a special comment here. I had a question for 23900Xs. Do you remind my comment? What is it? I'm still waiting for it. Rocket Johnny. What was your comment and question about it? John Van, in the EU, we are waiting on 011 data EU server. You're waiting on it. Like I don't know if they're gonna be getting one or not 100% yet. I know my mod was talking about it. He was saying maybe in the future, but I don't know where he is on that yet. I'll try to get some more information on you for a European server. That might help. Maybe there's a lot of raptoreum miners in Europe, so maybe that's another issue why a lot are on flock pool and whatnot. But again, I think the main thing is because everything is defaulted right in the miner, and there's so many new miners that I'm not sure what's going on there. New subscriber here. Tried to add you on Reddit too, but I can't. I don't know why. Nice to know your birthday on 30 January. It's not the 30th. It's the 3rd. January 3rd. 303, not 30. Just to clear that up. It's January 3rd. So, you know, if you guys want, my address is in the description of all my videos. You guys want to send me some presents, you know, like a thread ripper or something like that, that much appreciated. I'm just kidding. Don't gotta do that, guys. But yeah, Rabid Mining, what do you think about Epic CPU? Better than Ryzen, or Ryzen is still the best option? Well, the reason why I go with Ryzen's is obviously they're consumer grade, they perform very, very well, and they're a lot cheaper than all those server grade CPUs like the Threadrippers, the Epics. Obviously, the Epics can get fairly expensive, although they do make dual slotted motherboards for those, which potentially could be great, but the price on those things, those CPUs, are massively insane. Present flood Rabid. Yeah, do it, guys. Present flood me. That'll make one heck of an unboxing video. But yeah, those CPUs are way too expensive. Like, I go to PC Part Picker, I try pricing stuff out, and say to build myself, the cheapest way to build myself a 3970X Threadripper rig, which is the same. It's what is it? 32 core? No, it's a 24 core. So the same as two 3900Xs. It'll cost me over $4,000. And if I was to build just two 3900X rigs, even with the scalper prices, it only work out to be a little over $2,800 or something. So I'd be saving $1,300 building two 3900X rigs than building the same performance on that Threadripper. So consumer grade CPUs, they're a lot more cost effective to the performance that you're getting out of them. Is it still worth to mine RTM on a 5950X? It's still worth mining Raptoreum on anything. It's the most profitable coin currently. Next in line though, Haven Protocol. Like, let's look at mine Raptoreum. Again, this is all just I gotta adjust my screen for you guys again. Bam. Can you guys see this all right? So again, this is all speculation depending on this snapshot, but this gives you a really good estimate of what you potentially could be making with your CPU. So I'm gonna go to 3900X. Here we can say, uh-oh, it's down. It doesn't want to say what we're doing. Hurry up, load. All right, so it's probably doing a snapshot or something, but the API is down, so it's not getting the results. So we can't use this right now. I was looking at it earlier. It was about $1.80 per 3900X. I think it was saying 40 coins, something like that, but we can't check it. But I was going down. Next in line, I am thinking, is Haven Protocol. It's a fairly profitable coin. If you've mined on Monero Ocean or anything previously, then you know what I'm kind of talking about here, where it usually mines XHV here more majority of the time and then pays out in XMR. But we're looking at $1.44 per day on a 3900X. You average about 1,330 hashes on Haven Protocol at only about 93 watts or so. So it is a really nice, efficient coin. And it's like, I think, the second or third most profitable coin for a CPU. But Raptoreum is currently still more profitable. But if you wanted to try something else, you know, Haven Protocol is another great CPU mineable coin if you wanted to check it out. I did previously mine this before, and when, like I said, Monero Ocean profit switching, majority of the time this is the coin that you are mining. Bam. Okay, what do we got here? Good afternoon. I have 5900X, 3900X, and 8700K mining RTM, but no matter the voltage, round speed, or threads on my 1700X, it freezes Hive after 20 minutes. What do you think is the issue? Hive freezes? Literally, like, oh, that's weird. Hive shouldn't freeze. Huh, I don't really know what's going on. I haven't seen Hive freeze on me before, so I'm not really sure. I guess it's only on the 1700X that does that. I'm not sure what your issue is. I have not seen Hive freeze. If anything, it should just be rebooting your rig or something if something's wrong. MCW, boom, I just added a 13 laptop rig to 011. 13 laptop, oh my gosh, crazy. How are those laptops doing? Sorry, missed a few streams, but I'm back. Hey, Kia Enigma Adventures. Hey, what's going on? That's all right. Welcome back. Gregory at Rabid Mining. Epic processors have the same catch as higher Ryzen, so it doesn't benefit much. You will max out on L3 catch to benefit all the other cores. Very true. That's another thing. You got to look at that when, if you want to, depending on the coin you want to mine. So Raptoreum, for example, 2 megabytes L3 catch per thread that you want to use. So you got to make sure you have enough L3 catch to run full threads. Haven, on the other hand, that I just showed you here, it uses 4 megabytes. So if you were to throw your 3900X, your 3950X, your 5900X, and your 5950X, you're only going to be maximizing 16 threads on Haven protocol that I just showed you there. But the 6000 series AMDs, they're supposed to be having 15 to 20% more L3 catch. You are going to be utilizing more threads with those, even at the same counterpart of the CPU. So like 3900X, 5900X, 16 threads, and the 6900X could potentially, depending how much they actually throw into it, I don't know the number yet, you could be utilizing 18 to 20 threads, depending how much extra L3 they put into there. And that would make Haven a very profitable coin for mining on those 6000 series AMD CPUs. Then again, Raptoreum is probably still going to be more profitable. See what kind of performance boost we get. We won't see too much. I'm assuming the 6000 series is still going to perform like the 3 and 5000 series if that's all they do add to it. But again, we don't know until we actually test it out. On Amazon, I see the 59. Oh, I got to get some more ads here. Rabid Mining, 10 kilohash average on my 3 rigs. Missed report you said to use. 10 kil. Oh, you go per rig. Not the total of all your rigs, you go per rig. So if you got 10 kilohash per rig, you're using some massive CPUs. But I'm assuming you mean 10 kilohash between the 3, so you'd use port 3008, which is 1 to 8 kilohash average per rig. You do it by each individual rig, not your total hash rate average or anything. Flock pool, only 50 millisecond ping to northern Sweden. High ping is my problem with many pools. My house have a 100 fiber. Oh, that's a lot of people have different reasons why they're things. But Supernova, have you tried White Arc? Oh yeah, you did, and you had the issue with the thing. But what was your ping? Once you get like maybe your wallet sorted out, it may be a better option. Again, I don't know. I'm not telling you to actually use Supernova or something, but I would recommend, if you guys can and see decent latencies on a different pool, just to use a different pool other than Flock pool. Andrew McGuire, just getting started with mining on my gaming rig. If my settings are 3.6 at 1 volt, can I play games with these settings or have to keep switching? You'd have to keep switching. Obviously you're in Windows, so I'll show you exactly what I do right here. So here we are. This is Ryzen Master, if anyone is unaware of it. So here you can set 2 different profiles. So you have profile 1, profile 2. You only need 1 profile, but if you overclock for gaming, for example, then you can utilize 2 profiles. But you can see right now I'm in default. This is just my default settings. Now, once I do go to manual, it will imply the settings I have for mining. So you can see 3800, so that's 3.8 gigahertz. And here's my 1 volt. You just click on it, make sure you are in manual mode, and you can set your voltage there. So I'm using 1 volt, 3.8 on my 3950X here. And you just hit apply once you're done, and it'll apply these. Then you start mining. Now, if you're done mining, you want to play your game or something, you just go to default here, hit apply, and you're good to go. You're back on your default settings, as you can see here. Look at 5, 5, 5, and then I will actually just apply my overclocks. Bam. Now look at 3.8. Yeah, I was like, I was supposed to be 3.6, but you can see I'm at 3.8 here. So it is that easy just to swap your overclocks over. You're back to gaming. So right now I'm ready to mine. Go back in here, default, apply, Go up. See, now we're set at the 5,000 max again. So now I'm ready to game. If I want to game, I can go game. So it's that easy. Once you get in Ryzen Master, just do this. Now, if you do plan on using Hive OS, obviously you're going to have to do everything through your BIOS, and if you won't be playing games if you are using Hive OS. It's dedicated mining. But Windows, Ryzen Master makes all that extremely easy. Okay, where are we at here? Just good. Thorin Standhofer. Sorry, if I butchered your name, I'm very sorry. I only have 2,000 kilohertz, kilohash. 2,000 kilohash, do you mean 2,000 hashes? So 2 kilohash with a Ryzen 3900X at 3,600 megahertz. Can I tune that, or is that normal? A 39, you should be getting more. Again, you don't have to run your RAM so fast, but you can, hey, you mine the way you want to mine. Depending on your pool and everything you're doing, I don't know what you got for actual overclocks. Like, what's your OC setting? Are you just running default? Remember, there are a lot of people I do notice in my videos and comments, they're running just default settings. So they're just running default and they're just adjusting their RAM or whatever. You do have to apply, or it's recommended, apply your overclock as well as your voltage. That way your CPU will run cooler. As well, you will see increased hash rates. If you're just running default, for example here, look at how this operates in default. Right now you can see everything's sleeping. Let's just pretend we're mining here right now. Let's pretend we're mining, everything's, you know, doing whatever. But because I'm default and it sets the max at 5,000, all these threads or all these cores, they're going to be jumping all over the place. They're not going to be at a steady 3.6 or 3.8. Some will be at like 3.6, and the odd time you'll see one spike to 3.8. You'll see one spike to 5. You'll see one drop to, like, you know, maybe only 3,000. It'll be all over the place, right? So that's why you're going to see less hash rates. You're also going to see a lot of voltage, increased temperatures. Like, I'm running 60 degrees right now, and that's just because I'm high voltage in default. So look at me, I'm 60 degrees, 61 degrees, 1.4 volts, and I'm hardly using them. There's one spiking in 1,000, one's at 2.8, one's at 300, went back to sleep. Sometimes this hits 3.2 like you just seen. So these are constantly changing. Your voltage is really high. When I'm mining, I'm only down to like 45 to 50. There is an AIO in here. So my temperatures are lower while mining, and I'm using a steady, constant, everything is running at the same, at a lot lower voltage. So running default, you're going to be using a lot more power. Your things will be spiking. You're going to be losing hash rate. So be sure to set overclock settings. I really recommend it. Your word equals my command. White Arctic Walker, no problem. Thorzine Standhofer. I hope that kind of answered your question there. I don't know what you have for OC settings, but I'm assuming you're probably running default and whatnot, and your RAM maxed out. Thanks. Vincent, is there any hope for Intel? I have no idea. If Intel, you know, starts throwing L3 catch into their CPUs, then definitely they have hope. But until that actually happens, no. When looking for CPUs, remember, L3 catch isn't the first thing you really want to look at. But when it comes to like Haven and Raptoreum, you got to kind of know the coin you want to mine, and then you got to look for the CPU for it. But Ryzen's, they're just workhorse performance cores in their CPU, so they just dominate. Are you open to sponsors? Well, yeah, of course. Like, everybody wants to try to make money, so I'm definitely open for it. I have been approached by a few, and some of them are just ones I don't want to promote. Like, they're kind of, I used to do, you know, like the CD key type of stuff back when I first started, when I got them, but I don't really want to do that stuff anymore because, again, it's kind of gray area stuff. So I'm trying to keep things clean. I have a few blockchains tried to get a hold of me, but they seemed kind of on the sketchy side, so I didn't really answer their emails back. So anything that looks fairly legit, then I will kind of, you know, take a sponsor and stuff from it. But I have been getting offers, just none of them seem to be something worth doing. Okay, so has Matt Electron beat the master to the punch? When should we your test results? 3.8 or 3.6? 3.8 looks pretty good, but I can't continue with my tests until I actually finish this solo test. They're just going to mess that right up. I already know I'm at 0. I may as well just quit now and move back to a pool and do my test, but I want to feel it out. I still have a couple more days left on that 1 week solo test, so I'm going to continue it. I'm not going to back out now. I'm going to keep doing it, and then I will continue on with my testing on power consumptions and all that stuff on overclocking the 3900X. 5900X and 3900X hash at the same rate. Majority of the time, yes. There are the odd times or rotation where the 3000 does seem to outperform it. So long term, you may see a little bit extra performance on the 3000, which is kind of weird. But it's for some reason it's just looking that way. But overall, if whatever's cheaper, get the cheaper one. And 3000 series is definitely boosting up in price. So it's probably your best bet is the 5000 series right now. Lob Bob 420, hello from Ontario. Hey, how's it going? Welcome. 3900X performs slightly better than RTM. That's correcto, fundamental. Now wake CAD. Those days are over. Yeah. Did I miss any ads up here? Let's check it out. 10 kiloamps. I think I caught up on everything. Are we caught up? Remember, at me if you have a question, super chat, whatever you got to do to get my attention, or just greatly help out the channel. What do we got here for views and everything? We got 150 viewers, 153 and 92 likes. Come on guys, smash that like button if you haven't yet. Also hit that subscribe button. Links in the description to Discord and all that other stuff if you want, need more information and background stuff. If you are unaware, new to the channel as well, the website I'm currently on is my own website. This is rabidmining.com, where the merch store and everything does exist. So as well as CPU mining rig builds here. This is what I do use when I build my CPU mining rigs and my recommended hardware and all that other good stuff that goes to it and other things. I do blogging once in a while, and this is where I post them. And yeah, it's been neglected, but we're good to go. Just built a 5900X rig yesterday, my first one. Just got to figure out settings. 5900X, you can go, well, right now I'm thinking the 3.8 is probably the better route to take. So 3.8 gigahertz, what am I talking about? Gigahertz at 1 volt seems to potentially be the better way to roll. So try that with your 5900X, see how stable it is. Remember, silicon lottery doesn't always mean it'll work. Example, when I first had my 6 3900X rigs, I was running them all at 0.95 volts, but I did have one rig that didn't like it. So I did just move everything to 1 volt. I probably could have got away with 0.97, but I just went to 1 volt, and that's what I do, run them all now, and it's still fairly efficient. I have a 3900X. What do I change in Ryzen Master to undervolt the CPU? Well, if you're talking just the voltage, let's have a look here. Ryzen Master. Uh-oh. How come my Ryzen Master? Oh, there we go. Ryzen Master's open. So here we are. So you're going to go to Profile 2, click on Manual, and now you're going to click on all these right here for an example. So let's say I want to go 3.9. Now, if you click this square here means it'll lock all these banks in and it will change everything. Now you can make it so it's single. You can change each core individually if you want. You can change each bank if you want, or you can change them all. Right now I have it set to all. So here's 3.9 you see, and there's 3.8. So I want to change it all to 3.9 now. Boom. Now you can see we're all at 3.9. I would hit save profile and then apply, and I will have all my settings set at 3.9 now instead of 3.8. Change your voltage, just go down to your peak core voltage here, and right now I'm at 1. If you want to go up, so you can see, you can set all your voltages here. You can do it by the up and down arrows, or you can just put in a number. Example, look, now 2 volts. That's going to be way too high. You don't want to do that, but that's just a quick way to do it. Again, save profile, apply. Your profile is saved. I don't want to save this. We're back to normal here now. Looks like it. All right. So that is how you use Ryzen Masters. Pretty simple, straightforward. What are you volting the 5950X and 3950? Is 1 volt stable? Yes, 1 volt is stable on the 5950X as well as the 3950X. The Ryzen Master I just showed you is actually my 5950X, which is in my workstation. Obviously, everything's asleep and stuff right now because I'm not mining while I'm live streaming. Can you make a dedicated BIOS video with recommended settings using Hive? I do have one of those already, Crypto Baltus, but I'll try to add a Windows in there. I'll try to make everything, like a overclock settings for CPU mining type of video where I will go through Ryzen Master and I'll go through the BIOSes and whatnot for Hive OS. So that will be in the works. Hopefully I can have that out probably sometime this week. Akabula, no problem. Any questions? 150 watching. Smash that like. We got 150, 165 guys. Smash that like button. 165. Hit that subscribe button too if you are new to the channel. Now, do you guys have more questions? Should we check out some rig pictures? What should we do here, guys? We didn't even look at the Ethereum stuff yet. Oh my gosh, I'm behind. This is like usually what first thing I do is. So let's go to here. No, I'm gonna go to this one. There we go. Kind of adjust this so you guys can see it better. So how's the old Ethereum network looking for us? Hit the refresh. Oh, look at this reward. 2.8, a 3.7. Oh, 3 ETH burnt, 3.1 ETH burnt. Look at these gas fees. Like, oh my gosh. Oh, we had 89 right there. But the Ethereum network, like the devs cannot fix their own network. They're too busy trying, you know, kick all the miners off and go POS. But whatever. That's what the way they want to take their network. 4.2 here, not bad. So some of the blocks here are up a little bit higher than usual, but not the greatest. Look at our hash rate here. We're coming down a bit. The other day we were sitting at 892 terahash, and now we're down to about 841. But again, that's going to peak up. Maybe someone's testing out something else or whatever. Other things are happening. What to mine? A current 3070 is making $4.29 before power. You guys can't see that. And $3.98 after power. So profits are looking pretty good. Raptoreum price is down by the looks of things as well. Just under 5 cents at 0.4931000. Oh, so what is that? Originally it was saying 40, so $1.97. Unless let's see if Mine Raptoreum's still back up. Where's Mine Raptoreum? Oh, where'd you go, Mine Raptoreum? There you are. Your website working again? Are you back online? Tell us what we're making. Oh, it went down. So must have did a new snapshot here. It's saying 36. It's saying $1.78 per day mining Raptoreum on a single 3900X. Remember, take all this with a grain of salt. Depending on the snapshot it takes, you may get a couple more coins, you may get a couple less, but it's a great tool to look at, you know, how much a certain CPU may potentially be making you in a day. You got Intel and AMD, and if you're at a pool, you want to set your own custom value, then you can set that here as well. If, like, say you're doing 32 kilohash average on the pool, you can just set that right here, and it'll tell you what you could potentially be making. Now go back to Haven here. What was this saying now? So this was saying it's gone now. What? Okay, it's gone. So it was saying like $1.78. We'll just refresh Haven again. Yes, continue. And $1.78, and this coin CPU mining on a 3900X is about $1.19. So there's like a 40-50 cent difference there happening between the two, but still there are other profitable coins to mine with CPUs if, you know, something happens to the Raptoreum network or something. Go back to here. Bam, bam. Can't wait for ETH to POS. I'm wanting to see what the next coin will be. Yeah, Getting Ghost. It's going to be really interesting when that does happen. Oh, is my screen right? Oh, yeah, that's correct. When ETH does move to POS, it's very, very interesting because things are going to dramatically change. Like, if you ask someone, you go, hey, what are you going to mine? Raven coin, Ergo, you know, whatever. But you got to remember, like, GPU mining is drastically going to change like crazy. And that's not going to be affecting CPUs. So CPU mining is almost looking better currently than, you know, the after effects of, you know, Ethereum moving over. Again, another coin, obviously, you know, you can't lose all the GPUs or all those networks are dying. That's not going to happen. So the devs are obviously going to be trying to pump their coins up. They're going to be trying to get miners on the network. They're going to be trying to keep miners on the network. There's going to be a lot of incentives going on, a lot of things happening in the background to potentially push some coins up in price. So it's going to be a very interesting ride once that happens. RTM is looking more and more like Chia. Yes and no. See, well, when Chia first came out, it started super high and then it just crashed and it never came back and no one's really talking about it anymore. Raptoreum, it's been around for about 3 years and, you know, it's been coming up, going down, coming up, going down. So it's been doing its thing and eventually, you know, it's still being built on. You got active devs and that's what you need for coins. Devs that are continually trying to improve the coin, get it listed in other exchanges, and that's all good things. So who knows, in a couple years right now, you could be saying a totally different story. Raven halving, yes. You know what? Let's take a look at that just to kind of show some people what potentially is going on here. So let's go to what to mine. Let's do a 3080 rig because the 3080, you know, really gets people's numbers wise going. Where's 3080s? 3080, where are you? 3080. Oh, I hate it when they change. So 3080. Let's take 6 3080s. So that's like what? $6,000 right there, Canadian MSRP for a Founders Edition. So dirt cheap. $6,000 to get 6 of these bad boys. All right, right on. Let's calculate what's it making right now. Okay, let's go into Ravencoin here. So currently $21.92 after power. So we're going to take a block reward. Remember, January, it's halving right off the get-go. So already 2,500 from 5,000. Right now we're at $21.92 profits after power. Take the halving into effect here. Boom. We're down to $9.16 on 63080s. Very, very interesting. Now, let's say we got to work in this difficulty here from the work over proof of stake. So where is our actual hash rate? So let's take 804. Let me adjust the screen for you guys. Look at this. We got 841 terahash coming in. Now, how many? I always say around 50% is ASIC. Some people say 60, other people say 35. We don't know the number, but I like to go with 50%. So I'm going 841 divided by 2. So right there we have 420 terahash on the network of GPUs. So now to move that over to Ravencoin, so example, a 3060 Ti, you know what mines like 61 mega hash, and it does about 30 mega hash on Ravencoin. So we're going to do that and drop another 50% from the hash rate difference of Ethereum down to Ravencoin. So we're going to divide that by 2 as well. So we have about 210 terahash coming into Ravencoin, possibly 210. So now we're going to look here how much hash rate is on Ravencoin. 8 terahash. Okay, so 210 divided by 8. That is 26 times the hash rate that could potentially flood Ravencoin. Now, 26 times. We're going to look at just 5 times a hash rate increase. What does 5 times the hash rate of a difficulty increase look like on Ravencoin with these prices? So we're going to take this number here. I'm going to copy this over. I don't think it actually works. So we've got 26. I'm going to write this down for a quick second so we don't forget. 26 times. I'm going to take 113, 339.39. And I'm going to times that by 5. So only 5. Remember, we could potentially have 26 times the hash rate. That's if everybody swaps right over to Ravencoin. That's not going to happen. So we're only going 5 times. Remember, it's going to go to other coins. People are going to be bouncing around all over the place. So now we have 566 here. So 566, 696.95. So this is a 5 times difficulty increase. We calculate that over. We're losing $1.05 per day on 63080s if 5 times the difficulty happens on Ravencoin. So people are going to flood here. They're going to see that and be like, uh-oh, okay. So then they're going to go to another coin. There's going to be a lot of people coming to what to mine and saying, okay, this coin, now that coin, now that coin, now that coin. And eventually people will be throwing their GPUs against the wall, saying they spent their house and everything on it. And that's where the FOMO comes in. They're going to be like, okay, I got to sell my hardware ASAP. They go to sell their hardware. There's a lot of other people selling their hardware as well. Now the GPU prices and everything start coming down. So if selling your GPUs or hardware is part of your business plan, you're going to have to sell it before this happens while the prices are still high. If you wait too long to sell your hardware, you're not going to get anything for it because more and more people will begin selling, and then the price will obviously drop down. People that are going to continue mining, they're going to be obviously buying that hardware for a lot cheaper prices. And that's just what we see every bear run. It's a cycle. It happens. That's how I picked up a lot of my rigs for dirt cheap, is because people were selling and they didn't want it anymore. So anyway, a couple weeks, a month or two, it's probably going to take a good couple months for everything to settle out. People are selling, networks coming down. All the difficulties dropping across these because there's less and less rigs. Obviously, we have the cheap power mining farms that don't care about power prices, so they're going to keep mining stuff. But, a lot of residential miners are selling. Everything's going to start dropping here. And then eventually, profits will start picking up again as that hash rate does come off the network. And then you can start looking. Maybe I'll try Flux for a while. Maybe I'll try this. And eventually, one coin, couple coins will start to shine, and then depending on what the market's in, whether we're in a bear run or a bull run, those prices will start coming up. Some coins will see more gains than others, and then we will see what we can actually mine GPU wise the most profitably. So it's going to be a process. It's going to be game changing and night and day once the merge happens. People have to be aware of what's going to happen. But eventually it will take time and things will stable out. But it's nowhere going to be near as profitable as what we're seeing with GPUs today. It's definitely going to be a lot less. So I just wanted to point that out there. Let me know if that makes sense to some of you guys or not. Let me know if I did something wrong. But, you know, things are going to change. It's drastically going to be different than what we're seeing right now. So people getting in right now, you may not ROI your cards for a couple years. You know, like, maybe it's not worth buying GPUs until you know what's going to happen in the future, because 4 to 6 month ROIs is set to come right at the brink of when the merge in the timeline is supposed to happen. It could be extended. It may be to the end of next year, maybe 2 years down the road still. We don't know. Every time it gets close, all they do is delay the difficulty bomb and try to work on the network more. But as it is, the current price is middle of next year, around July, of when the merge is going to happen. And again, none of this is going to affect CPUs. So you don't have to worry if you're a CPU miner, unless, you know, everyone sells those GPUs and buys CPUs and starts flooding. As we've seen, the difficulties drastically coming up fast on Raptoreum. But there's also lots of other coins you can mine. CPU mining is profitable. I've been saying that for quite some time now, and just some people are finally starting to realize it. Yes, it's not GPU level, but, you know, after the merge, it may be above GPU level. Okay, anyway, that's my explanation. You know, maybe I'll throw that into a big dedicated video one day. I tried doing it earlier, but a lot of stuff like that, people don't want to realize what's happening. And they just tell me it's nothing but lies. Coins are going to go up. Prices are going to peak. Yes, that's true. But also keep in mind, look at 2013, look at 2017, and now we're in 2021. The end of the cycles is what? Every 3 or 4 years, 2013 to 2017. Now we're in 2021, the same year cycle. A lot of people are saying this December could potentially be the big dip that moves us into the next crypto winter. Are you guys ready for that? Other people are saying, you know what? Following the current trajectories, that is true, but it may be extended a bit because it's a little bit different this year. So it may be not until the merge from the middle of next summer. A lot of people are predicting it'll happen when the merge happens. So, you know, there's a lot of, you know, scaling trader people that watch a lot of smart charts and stuff that I have no idea about because I'm not a trader. They are pulling out predictions that this December or sometime in the summer, sometime within the next 6 months, we're going to see a lot of dramatic price drops and crashes and potentially a winter coming. Again, not financial advice. I have no idea if this stuff is true, but always be ready for something like this to happen. Okay, anyway, so hope that kind of put some insight onto all this stuff here. Hopefully that makes sense to a bunch of you guys out there. And if you guys, you know, remember, ask them questions. That's if the price don't rise from the halving. That is very true. But again, there isn't really too many people using Raven Coin, Mr. Chump Change. Need to keep that in your mind. Yes, you definitely do. But you also got to keep in crypto winters and charts. And remember, we're on the exact same cycle as 2013, exact same cycle as 2017. And the end of every cycle did happen in December, which is next month. Keep that in mind. All the charts are pretty much lining up. You guys got to take a look at some of those other guys' videos. It's pretty crazy what's coming. Also make sure to buy energy efficient cards. Yes, that's why I do. I always try to point out, save. It's not worth pulling out an extra few hash rate on your CPU, an extra few mega hash on your GPU when you can save twice as much power from dropping it a little bit. So yes, efficiency is key. Always run efficient. You want to get the most amount of hashes that you possibly can for the least amount of power. That's just the way it rolls. Hello, Rabid Mining. Cheers from Sweden. Steven Sandberg. Hey, what's going on? Welcome. How's it going over there in Sweden? Does What to Mine list CPUs? No, they have random X on there, but because CPUs isn't as mainstream as GPUs, you got to kind of watch out there because you got to do every coin individually, which is why I had Haven up here by itself. How's my screen? Can you guys see my screen? So yeah, that's why I had Haven over here. Mine Raptoreum for Raptoreum, Monero. You have to pretty much look up every coin individually, and then you got to know your hash rate on top of it. So because CPU mining isn't as mainstream, it's a little harder to figure out what you're going to make unless you actually test it out yourself. But you do got to do a lot more research into mining CPU wise profitability over GPU mining, where they do have What to Mine. Who knows, one day maybe What to Mine will add CPUs, or someone will come out with a new site that has everything in one. I'm actually wish I knew how to do like all the coding and stuff, because I'd really love to throw like a what to mine calculator as well as a CPU and an ASIC calculator, pretty much everything all into integrate into my website. So if any of you guys know how to do something like that, get a hold of me, because I'd really like to expand this website so it's almost like a one-stop shop to crypto mining. But for now, this is what it is. Mining XLA and a Ryzen 3900X. Yes, I used to mine Scala quite a bit back there. I think I have like 80,000 coins in a couple of weeks of mining. Again, the difficulty went up on that coin a few months back, but I do have a nice little bag of that coin there. And I found something really funny. Remember, every coin is different. XLA, I was seeing increased hash rates with no XMP profile on my RAM over having your XMP profile. So slower RAM actually performs better on XLA than it does with the faster RAM. So remember, everything's a little different. Everything's kind of weird. CPU mining is kind of a different world, but it was pretty crazy when I actually found that out. All about the website help. James Hansen, what? You can do that type of stuff? You know, message me in Discord. Get a hold of me. Let's get some website devs out here and we'll build ourselves something amazing. RTM isn't always active. The hash rate slows down. That's very true, but that's also, I think, due to what I talked about the other day on prop pools, and my mod pointed out too. There's like a cloud mining farm or something, or a hash rental. There's like 90 to 95 mega hash that periodically just shows up on the network, then disappears, then comes back. And those are like I said, your cloud mining, maybe your massive mining farms or a quick farm off Monero swaps over, and they probably hit the pools that are prop pools. Those are your paper share, paper rounds type of pools where they jump in there, grab a bunch of shares there right quick before a block's found, and then they take off. So there's those things are starting to be hitting on the Raptoreum network, which is interesting. So that means, it's getting more widespread. People are realizing this and seeing this, and they're taking advantage of people that are actually using those pools. Have you overclocked for performance on Raptoreum? I did do a fully performance overclock on Raptoreum at one point. Let me check my notebook. If you've been watching the channel for a while, you know all about my notebook. I have every test I ever have in here on this thing. It's filling up. I'm going to need another one. But I write everything down. So let me look back a few pages here. I did do Ryzen clock tuners on my 3900Xs as well as my 3950Xs, just to, get some hash rates and an average and whatnot. And yeah, I fully cranked it up and it used a lot of power. Let's just say that. So let's go to my 3900X here test. Again, XMP profile off, running efficient. The power consumption high was 118 watts and the low was 85 watts. There's 20 different rotations, 20 different hash rates, 20 different power consumptions. Add them all up, divide them. The average hash rate running efficient was 97 watts at 3.6 all core and 2 sticks around, because I just discovered the 1 stick thing. So this is when I had 2 sticks. And then when I actually put in the Ryzen clock tuner and DRAM calculator, I was rolling with, where is it here? Clock tuner, DRAM calculator. Okay, here we are. I hit a maximum power consumption of 195 watts. That's full system, remember. And then my low was, what was my low here? 148 watts was my low. And my average power consumption cranking this thing out was 167 watts average versus 97 watts average. Now, what's also funny here is, yes, I was averaging about 3.29 kilohash fully cranked out for that 24 hours. I did see up to like upwards of 4 kilohash, and I mined, this is back when the difficulty or the hash rate was only like 10 megabytes, so not very much. That one rig did mine 1,774 Raptoreum coins in 24 hours, fully cranked up. Now remember, I went down 97 watt average. I mined 1,763 coins, running only 97 watts average at 2.68 kilohash average in 24 hours. So I used almost double the power for an extra 15 coins at a low hash rate. So right now that probably work out to be the current difficulty, an extra 1 or 2 coins using almost double the power. It's not worth it in my books. Run efficient. If you run efficient, you could run 12, or I have to say you could run 11 3900X rigs for the same amount of power as running 6 rigs fully cranked out and ultimately doubling your hash rate long term for the same amount of power. That is why I run efficient and run it the way I do. Do I smash the delete key when having rig booting to get into the BIOS? Yes. When you first boot your rig, start smashing that delete key. You do have a couple second delay. You don't got to do it right off the get-go, but just, you know, just have it. Just as soon as you start rebooting it, start smashing that delete key and it will bring you into your BIOS when it gets to that point. When you calculate the average wattage, are you also factoring in the amount of time spent burning that amount of power? When I calculate the wattage, like, what do you mean? When I calculate the wattage that it's used is average. Like, I look at it, I look at my watt meter every time, and I go till I have about 15 to 20, because there's 20 different rotations. I write down all the average power consumptions. For example, I'll find you the numbers on my latest test here. Where is it? Where is it? Hold on, writing down some numbers here. So currently, like, I am testing 1 stick and 2 sticks of RAM, but I haven't gone past 3.8 yet because I've been doing my solo test. But example here, 1 stick of RAM, here's all my power consumptions that I've gotten so far that I've seen. I got 87.4, 122, 100.7, 103.9, 123, 86.6, 84.5, 85.6, 104.6, 82.7. I haven't done averages yet, but I had to add all those up, divide it by all the power consumptions, and then that would find me my average power. Now for 2 sticks, I did the same thing. I got all the powers written down that I've seen a hit based on rotations. So I'm going to be doing all this all the way from 3.6 up to like 4 to 4.1 until the stock cooler starts getting too hot on 2 different rigs, one with 1 stick, one with 2 sticks. I'm also going to be doing the benchmarking across them all, seeing what my hash rates are. I'm going to figure out, you know, is it worth mining using 2 sticks over 1? So far, it's not looking like it. Also, I'm going to be doing another test with a different rig where we're going to be looking on your normal tune versus full tune. And then we're going to be looking at your full tune on one setting and then cranking it all the way up, you know, and seeing if we even have to tune it again. Because everything based on the miner dev and everything says you recommends to do the tune, which makes sense. As soon as you change the settings, you retune it to make sure you get the maximized thing. But I am going to test it without doing all this stuff and compare it to with doing it all, and seeing if it's worth even doing it all. Because remember, that tune is it's almost 4 hours long, 222 minutes every time you change the setting. So it's going to take a while to get all these numbers out to you, but hopefully, you know, it's worthwhile information once I do finally get it all. Okay, whoa, throat's getting dry. A lot of talking going on here. So, hi, when mining, the CPU load will be 100%. Yes, if you're mining with your CPU, if it's not at 100%, you got something going on. Either you took some threads offline to help with some background stuff, which you do have to do with the majority of Intel CPUs. The Ryzen's, you should be okay to use background applications in Windows while still mining. At least I haven't had any issues yet. But yes, your CPU should be mining at 100%. Is it okay to undervolt CPU if you also GPU mine on same PC? Yeah, for sure. That won't affect your GPU mining. Now, some people, if they're running 8 cards or more, you may potentially have to free up a thread, or you could end up getting a bunch of stale shares or something. So if you run into that issue, but there are people running 6 to 8 GPUs while mining on like a 3900X with no issues whatsoever. But if you start to see CPU mining stale shares at the pool, you may have to free up 1 thread. You'll lose a little bit of performance, but nothing too much. If you're not factoring the time spent at the power draw, that's a very inaccurate way of calculating. Well, how I have actually found it for the power draw and averages is when it hits the high powers and the low powers, it's not really those rotations, although it is random all the time, it's very, very rarely that it's on those rotations. So I do find it's within the same 3 powers majority of the time. When I check it, it's usually always the same 3 numbers. So there are 3 or 4 favored rotations that it does seem like it likes the most. But again, there are 20 rotations that it could potentially hit. I would think leaving it a thread or 2 would be more important. It depends on your CPU. If it's an Intel CPU, you would have to free up a thread or 2 because those CPUs just can't handle all these workloads. The consumer grades, the server grades, then they probably could. But I mean, like, you know, your 12900Ks, your Alder Lakes, you know, your 9900Ks, the majority of the consumer grade gaming CPUs and all that stuff, they are going to need a thread or 2 freed up because they just can't handle all the workload in the background either. Can I CPU mine on my HiveOS GPU rig? If so, how? Yes, 100% you can. You know what? Let's see if I can find it right quick. How can I show you this? Let's go into HiveOS here. You can definitely CPU mine on it. Now, I don't have any CPUs on mine, but let's just say I wanted to mine on this Octominer rig right here. Let me adjust my screen for you guys. You can kind of see a little better there. So say I wanted to mine on this. I'm just gonna have to change my flight sheet. So what I do here is I'd edit that so you can already see I got Ravencoin going on one, I got Ethereum going on here. So I'm just gonna add yet another miner and say I wanted to mine Raptoreum. So I'm gonna go Raptoreum, enter my wallet. I got so many wallets here because I've been doing all these tests. So Raptoreum. Then I'm gonna pick my pool. Let's say Supernova. Yes. West. Done. Apply. Miner. We're gonna pick CPU op GR. We gotta hit our fork. Here's our fork. See, it's default says R plant. We don't want that. We want GR. Boom. And then we're gonna have to tune it, force tune everything. I'm not gonna go ahead with it, but I had apply changes, cancel, update. I'm good to go. I'm mining now with the CPU that's in my GPU mining rigs, but I'm not gonna mine with it because it's just a little, trashy CPU that's in there, and I don't want to start rebooting all my stuff and everything that's going on there. But that is that easy to set up to start mining on the CPU that's in your GPU mining rig currently. And if you had a 3900X in there, then you do the same thing, but that engage at that time. Oh, boom. Okay, in there. Back to small screen. All right. Hopefully that answered your question about that section of HiveOS. fairly simple, really fast to get up and running in HiveOS. Yes, we went through that. All right, so my 5900X rigs are clocked at 4.1 and 1.08 volt to get them over 3.3. Remember, it'll change every day, Surfing. So check your average hash rate. Every day it'll be different. Like I said, I've had average hash rates as low as on my 3900X, as low as about 2.38, 2.4, and I've seen them as high as like 3.4. So again, depending on how often and how long it hits those other rotations, then like if I hit like the super high one 2 or 3 times in the last 24 hours instead of only once, you would see a higher average hash rate at the pool, the next day. Rabid Mining, thank you. I'm sure you have a video on it. We'll have to look. For sure, check it out. I may or may not. I don't think I actually have one where I GPU mine and CPU mine together, but we can definitely get that. What pool should I use for Raptoreum? Supernova or O11 Raptoreum, or do you have another recommendation that the other ones I mentioned? It depends where you are. If you're in North America, always look at your latency. Try them all. Try every single pool. Myself, when I'm done my solo mining, and I always have been mining, is the O11 data pool, is where all my numbers and everything do come from. That's the pool I use. But again, depending where you live, if your latency is too high, try Supernova. Try our pool. Try a different pool. Just give it a shot. If you have better latency there or something, then just use that pool. But I just highly recommend everyone to, not everybody, but we need to get, down to the 50% mark or under on Flock Pool. It's just not good news over there. Favorites GPU and CPU of all time. Well, that would have to be, my favorite CPU is obviously price to performance before the scalpers took over, was the 3900X CPU. Now, as scalpers are coming up, you can almost get the 3950X for the same price as the 3900X, or you can get the 5000 series for the same price or cheaper. Scalpers haven't really bought into those ones yet, but it all depends on price. But it was the 3900X, the price to performance. And then for GPU, I think I'd like to go, I think my favorite GPU would probably be the 3080s, or no, 3070s, not 3080s, because they're just, when it comes to Ethereum mining, which is temporarily at this point in time, it is as efficient as a 3060 Ti. So you get a decent amount of hash rate at decent efficiency, and it's a decent price for everything you get if you can get an MSRP, which is standing in line at Best Buy or something. But also, where the 3070 kind of stands out more than the 3080, the 3090, and the 3060 Ti is the other algorithms like Ergo, Ravencoin, everything else. They're more efficient across a broader aspect of coins than the 3080 and everything. Sure, the 3080 will definitely give you more hash rate and stuff, but again, we're talking about efficiency, and the 3070 seems to be pretty good when it comes to it. Now the 6600 XT and the A4000 stuff, they're very efficient cards, but you're going to need quite a bit of them to actually make up for it. So again, it comes to price to performance and price to, you know, how much room you actually have. So again, long term, if you're rich and you can find the cards and take your time, the 6600 series cards would probably be the way to go if you had a lot of room and space, because then you could get the most amount of mega hash for the least amount of power. But again, when it comes down to it, I think the 3070 is probably the best 3000 series card to go with the current time, especially with what's coming after the merge. You have to jumpstart your computer at Storm. There's 2 pins. You have to hit a key with a screwdriver. Oh, yes. So I'm assuming there was a question revolving not having a power switch. So yes, you can use a screwdriver and short out the 2 pins that you would normally use for with a power switch. So depending on your motherboard, make sure you check out your book. Make sure you're hitting the right pins, but a screwdriver will definitely get that up and running for you. 6600 XTs are awesome. Yes, big, they are. I still have yet to test one. There's someone that lives fairly close to me who has 2 or 3 of those cards. Every time I go to town, I always miss him because I'm either in a rush or something. But yeah, he says he does have a card. I can, you know, try out, test it out for a couple days, get some power consumption numbers and stuff, and see how it actually does. So I still haven't got to that yet, but sometime hopefully in the future that will be coming. Because yeah, the 6600 is allegedly very, very efficient. But all the videos I do see, everyone's using software numbers, or they're using their system idle as the base starting point, which is in my eyes wrong, because your GPU is already using power while it sits there idle. So you're subtracting more power off it than it's using when you're actually mining. So you end up with a lower power consumption than what it's actually doing. That makes sense to you guys, but I like to make sure I know what my system is running before I even throw the GPU in. That way I know exactly how much that GPU is pulling once I put that in. Idle, fans, everything. Is an Antminer S17 Plus God for 4200? I'm not sure which one that is. Let's have a look. There is a new Antminer Bitcoin miner coming out, 140 terahash or something. That thing is a monster, but even though it is a monster, because Bitcoin has so much hash rate, you need extremely cheap power with the best Bitcoin miner to be profitable. Like, they are profitable, but to actually become profitable, you need like 2-cent power. So I don't recommend mining Bitcoin unless you have very, very cheap power or solar. Let's have a look at here. So ASIC miner value. This is a great website to look at ASIC profitabilities and where to buy them. I do have links in my description to Casa miners who do seem to be fairly legit. They're on through this website as a dedicated miner. So be sure, if you are looking for an ASIC, check out that link in the description. But here we are for profitability. It looks like the KD5 is still, Cardano must still be, you know, ripping and roaring. So let's take a look. Where's that ASIC? Antminer S17 Plus. So let's look at the S17 Plus. S17 Plus, 73 terahash. So it looks like $18.14 per day, 2,920 watts. So do you want to use 3,000 watts for $18 per day? Probably not. Let's go to what to mine here and see what that looks like. Let's compare that to a GPU. This is what I like to do. When you look at stuff and says, oh, that looks like it's making a lot of day. And then you look at the power and like, is it actually? So let's just get, you know, let's get 3080s here up to that power consumption, see what it's looking like. Where was my thing? Uh-oh. Real-time hard. Okay. So 2920 watts. Okay, 2920 watts. So how many do we need here? Let's try 12. 2920. Oh, maybe 13. 2990. So pretty close, slightly over. What are we making on 13 3080s? We're making $80 per day after power. Let's go back to that ASIC for a second here. Where's that ASIC again? Oh yeah, $18.14 for 2,920 watts. Or you could use GPUs for the same amount of power and make $80 after power, $87 before power. Right there, red flag. I would not be buying that ASIC. Of course, you know, what if Bitcoin hits $1 million in a couple of years? A lot of people are predicting that too. It might be worthwhile mining that instead with that ASIC. You got to think of the future as well as now, but right now, for the same amount of power, you could be making a lot more GPUs, but then again, you probably can't find any GPUs. Well, hopefully that answered that question. Can you make a 6600 XT overclock movie? You want me to make a movie? Oh, well, I can try to pull out some Hollywood stuff and make a movie on a 6600 XT. But I know what you mean. I can try to look. When I do get that card to actually test out, I'll definitely be making some overclock stuff on it for sure. But a lot of miners have CPU E520. Is that possible to make a video about? That's a Intel CPU, isn't it? The E526XX. I do not have any Intel CPUs for mining. The only Intels I have are like the Celerons and 4400s and whatnot that are in my GPU mining rigs. Again, I don't really deal with Intel when it comes to CPU mining until they actually make a decent CPU that's worth mining with. If that makes sense. So right now, right, if you want to mine with your CPU, if you're planning on buying something, you got to go with Ryzen. Now, if you have Intel CPUs that you want to mine with, I'm not saying don't, give it a shot. It's better getting some hashes than zero hashes. It's just that I don't know too much on the Intel CPUs. All I know is they run fairly hot, they run fairly inefficient, and they don't quite get the hash rates that compared to their counterparts. Movie star. Yeah, I gotta throw on my mask. We're gonna do a 6600 XT Hollywood movie overclocking. You guys ready for that one? I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet, but you know what? We need special. We need a stunt team. I don't know, probably some explosions. Whatever makes a good Hollywood movie. Don't go this high. Kaboom! That is why. Do you use solar panels for mining? No, I don't, but I really wish I could. I want to look more at these ASICs again, actually. Let's look at these ASICs. Let's compare. Let's just look at some of these most profitable. Look at this KD box. You know what is probably one of the most efficient possible ways to mine right now that is sold out everywhere? That is the KD box. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, we're about to look at it. This thing is insane. And we're not talking about, you know, when you hear about all the miners, like someone actually in my live stream was telling me about this like months ago. And I really wish I probably would have tried to get one, but I can't now. They're sold out. But, you know, you hear ASIC, you think, oh, Bitcoin, you think Ethereum, you think L7. But, you know, look at Cardano and look at this KD box. KD box. Look at this. $24 a day, right? 205 watts. So this is like the same amount of power consumption as a mini Doge miner, which makes like $1 a day, $2 a day. This thing's making $24 at 205 watts. That is insanely efficient when it comes to your rewards. This is way more. You're using 205 watts and you're making almost twice as much as that app miner you were looking at earlier. It's like, look at that. 205 watts, $24 a day. You cannot do that with a CPU, a GPU, or anything. That is an insane amount of profits. Again, that's because Cardano is pumping. Obviously, you can see it's going down here. Can you guys even see that? Yeah, you can. But yeah, this is definitely something I would really love to get my hands on and try it out. This thing looks just amazing. The KD box. And this is a little tiny thing. You can run it on you can run it on 12 volt. You can run it on 240 volt, 210 volt, 240, whatever you want. It hardly uses any power. You could stack, what is that? 2, 4, 6, 8, 1440 watts. So you can stack 6. You can potentially stack 7 iffy, but you can stack 6 of these for sure on a single 120 volt line. A normal plug in the house of your wall. 6 of them. 6 times 24 is what? 6 times 24, that's like $120 some dollars, $128 or something there. $128 a day for 1400 watts. Can you imagine? That's insane. But these things, oh my gosh, you kidding me? Look at that. Third-party sellers. That's the other thing you gotta look out for. Third-party seller. Oh, Castle Miners has them, but out of stock. I gotta talk to these guys ASAP. But yeah, these are the guys I have a link for down in the descriptions. But yeah, look at Gold Shell sells them $1,600. Third parties, because the price went up, these guys were only selling them for like an extra $500, $1,000. Now that it's so profitable, oh, let's charge $9,000 almost, $8,500, $8,000. Like the price has definitely gone up. You could have got these for like 80% off a month ago. Now, booms. Obviously, they're in stock. You're paying twice the amount. But look at that. Still like under a year to ROI this thing at $8,000 for only 200 watts. That's still pretty good. But when it comes down to it, no, I'm not paying $8,000 for this little thing. It's pretty insane, though. The profitability on some of these ASICs, crazy. You show your CPU settings in Hive OS with RTM. I cannot show you unless I shut my rigs down and hook up my camera. and hook up a monitor. None of my monitor on them either. But it's the same thing. 3.6. Actually, most of them are still 3.6. I think I'm going to swap over to 3.8 now at 1 volt and retune everything after my solo test is done. But it's looking like 3.8 may be the better way to go. Oh, Tech Man, you got a CK box coming for real? Oh, you're lucky. That is nice. Was it you that was telling me about him? It probably was like 2 months ago. Or is it KD box? I don't remember. CK box. Wait, which one's a CK box? CK. Where are you, CKer? CK box. Back. CK box. Which one's a CK boxer? 343 a day. What is Eagle Song? Eagle Song Algo. Eagle Song. What do you mind? Nervos. CKB. Interesting. Not sure what that unit is, but it is 215 watts, 342 a day. It's not too bad, actually. That's on par with less power than a 3080, slightly less profitable. So that's pretty efficient, actually. You think about it, that's pretty good. Eagle Song, they have a lot of stuff coming up. Oh, really? So that might be something to look into for the future. Nice. Okay, Eagle Song. People be ready. Techman said it first. Remember that. When he comes back and says, yeah, my CK box is making $1,000 a day. We saw it here first when he was talking about it. CK box, sweet. I'll have to dig into that one too and think about it. See, these little mini ASICs are pretty sweet coming up. Although, I don't know about the Doge ones or Litecoin. The L7, that thing is ultimately super efficient for Litecoin. Litecoin's very popular. The Antminer L3 Plus, very popular. I believe the little mini ASIC, the Dogecoin miner, it is slightly more efficient than an L3 Plus. But obviously it's only like $1 or $2 a day. It's take a long time to mine, but if you stack those things up as well, though, it's a lot more efficient than the L3 Plus. But the L7 is a monster. Oh my gosh. Spec mining, not financial advice for sure. And no, I didn't find it first. Oh, you didn't find it first. Well, first time I seen it, so you found it first here. There's probably someone talking about it in Panda's Discord. Yeah, right on. Good stuff. Okay, we didn't even look at any rig picks today. We've been on for an hour and a half, so I guess we will be saving rig picks for another time. Do we have any last minute questions? We probably got to wrap this thing up soon. What do we got? 179 viewers. I have no idea what the likes are. I can't see them. I cannot see the likes. Anyone know? Thanks for the info. Now I want 3 types of ASICs in the bear market. Bear market's the time to go. Like, oh, bear market. Now you got to keep stuff in mind. You got to kind of plan for it too. So like, when the price starts dipping, what do? Do you sell at the top? Do you swap it over to like a USD, a stable coin or something? Wait for it to hit bottom and then transfer back over. You got tons of, especially if you're on the Ethereum network, you got fees all over the place. You're losing half your money just in fees. You like Coin Miners Web? Yeah, when I was on Coin Miners solo mining, I loved their UI. They had a wicked UI. But they just didn't, I couldn't find no blocks there. So I was like, I'm out of here. Okay, hope my mini Doge gets here before Christmas. Oh, you got a mini Doge coming too? Nice. I gotta try it. Maybe I should look into one of these little mini things. I'll get off Flock and try Coin Miners. Yeah, give Coin Miners a try. I never tried their pool by themselves. I just tried it on solo. But, you know, maybe their pool alone, it might be decent. Yeah, they definitely have a nice UI. 150 UI, 156 likes. Nice. So 176 viewers, 156 likes. If you haven't yet, please hit that like button, guys. Be sure to hit that subscribe button as well if you are new to the channel. My throat's getting a little on the sore side, so I suppose I should probably wrap this thing up. We didn't even get to any rig picks, but that's okay because we do AMAs. People have questions. I try to answer them. Hopefully I did get to most of your questions today. Maybe I'll start adding a third stream into the week here, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. We'll see what happens. But yeah, thank you everybody for showing up. I will see you guys on the next one, and Rabid out.